We're live. It's been a while. And it's late. So, see if anybody shows up. In the meantime, I'm Fairy. If you're new here, welcome. It's been a minute. Quite I've had quite the adventure. Let's just leave it at that. But gotta kill some dead space while I wait for people to show up. So I am doing readings for donations or just for fun if you want to come in and hang out or watch the replay. I may have some interesting tales later on, but I would like to wait for some people to show up. It's been quite the adventure for Fairy. It's part of the reason why I disappeared. But I'm here to read some cards and hopefully, oh, no way. Soul Moon's rising, of course. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. How are you? Tell me how you're doing. You're my only one right now. I miss you too. It's been an adventure. I guess I keep saying that. I don't really know how to talk about my situation too much, but I would love to hang out and chat and speak in as much as I can. I'm so happy you showed up. I hope some more people come. Would you like a card since you're here? And I've got my moon deck out, of course. Life's been crazy. Yeah, for you too. Oh my gosh. I feel like I keep hearing this story from a lot of people. Like, kind of this significant pattern of huge shifts. Like, massive having to let go. Oh my god, I just got like chills all over my body. Like, just really having to let go of things. Like, intense situations that weren't serving your good, serving your soul, but like really hard to let go of, really hard to get out of. I also started homeschooling my daughter a couple years ago, and I currently homeschool two of my kids, so that takes a lot of my time. My middle child still goes to public school, but hi, a silly CRK fan, welcome. So I'm doing live readings. Taylor Kellen, welcome. Can you have a shout out? How are you? So I guess I'll just pull a couple cards and see how they resonate with you guys. How's your day been, evening been? I don't know what time it is in your space. It's after 10 here, but I do have kids, so. Ariella, hello, beautiful. How are you? Yes, thank you. Oh, hello, lemon orange. All right, so first card is Temperance. So it's interesting because, I feel like this is a perfect card. We've been going through a lot. Temperance really represents calm in the chaos, learning how to manage your emotions even when things are like all over the place. Hello, Michael Rolla. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's good to hear from you again. Oh, your phone's about to die. I'm seeing so many old faces. It's like, wow, I thought, well, 10 o'clock, I'm not going to get anybody, but well, I'm glad you're here, and hopefully you can stay for a little bit. So let's see what's going on with Temperance. Why so much chaos? I can definitely tell we're having to learn how to hold ourselves, even with a lot going on. Learning how to find that inner space within while still managing all the things that are going on around us. And then we have the Hierophant in reverse. So this is about recognizing maybe spiritual values and thoughts that were developed around that could possibly take a shift in perspective, whether this is your own perspective or the perspective that you have presented now or in the past could be shifting and changing. It's about teaching not just yourself how to catch up with your soul that sometimes we lose in the chaos, but also recognizing the power of your soul itself. And when it speaks to you, it can tell you a lot of things if you're willing to listen. Oh, yay! So happy to hear that, a silly CRK fan. What's my favorite color? Red. But I also like pink and purple, but red. It's funny, my daughter just asked me the same question earlier, and I was like, well, it's always kind of been red, but I do have other favorites as well. I have a lot of pink stuff. My car had pink stuff all over it, but I got in a car accident 2 days on the 3rd. What day is it? That's how bad my memory is right now. It's been a lot of crazy things happening. So it's the 6th, 3 days ago. Joe, how's it going? Hi, beautiful superior white goddess. I know my place is a black man. I respect your superior white goddess. I'm actually mixed. I guess the lights are making me look a little lighter. I have a lot of heritage, including white. I kind of have a special interest in genealogy, so I did some deep diving. And really, I only started with my grandmother, who is Native American, and she also has a lot of Spanish and a bunch of other things. So one of the interesting things about New Mexico is if you deep dive into kind of the history of it and the mixing of the Spanish and the natives, you learn a lot about colonization and kind of how that played out and how that kind of presented itself into now. And then even going back through the heritage of the Spanish, it gets very widespread to not just the Spanish. Like I'm talking, we went all over the Middle East, up into like Norway and Switzerland, and yeah. I don't want to bore you guys. It was just like, it was a lot. I was so blown away. People don't even realize how extended their heritage can be if you are willing to look. My favorite animal. Ooh, that's hard. I have so many. Probably the tiger was one of my long-standing favorites. And then fawns are kind of an aspect that joins me in many of my journeys. You're new to this channel. Your shirt is slay. Thank you. Could I please have a card pull? Queen of Wands X. We've got 2 of Wands here. So this is about recognizing both sides of ourself, our more organic selves, as well as the selves that we present more to society, the decisions we make based on our presentation that we give to society, but also the primal aspects of our soul, our inner selves. So this is like asking, what choices can you make in your everyday life that honor both sides, that honor your presentation in your more modern aspects, your more modern presentations, but also that primal deep inner self, that deep inner soul, and how can you find balance with both and create this very authentic version of yourself? Wish we knew where Frank Ocean was. I miss him a lot. Frank Ocean. Why does that name sound familiar? Word. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of your guys' comments. I'm trying to keep up with them. Oh, thank you. The headpiece, intuition. I actually used to make a whole lot of them for my shop. I'm gonna have to get to my storage unit and try to pull out some of my wire working stuff and make some stuff. I'm gonna make some money real quick because I got in a car accident the other day and really my income was through Uber. So I guess the universe had different plans. I'm okay, by the way. My car is not. It was totaled. But even when I was talking to the insurance person, I was like, well, yeah, I think I might just have like a little bit of minor whiplash. And then she was like, I saw the pictures of your car. So I guess it was a little bit more intense than I thought it was. I kind of tend to downplay things in a lot of ways, but I'm okay. Libra, I'm a Libra. Libra love. All right, so we've got the 2 of Swords talking about making choices, especially choices that we don't want to make, choices we already know we have to make, but kind of don't want to look at them because they're hard. It's like that beast in the water hiding behind us that we know is there, but we don't want to recognize that it's there. And when we think about that on more of a spiritual level, that's our inner shadow, like those scary parts of ourselves that are kind of hiding inside of us. But honestly, that's also where we can find a lot of our power. So it's like if we're willing to look at the things that we're scared of inside of ourselves and work with them, a lot more of your truth comes forward and you're able to heal from things from the present and the past that you wouldn't have been able to heal from if you weren't willing to acknowledge their presence. So it's about making choices and decisions to heal, even though it's hard. And that's also kind of that theme of letting go, which seems to be really common right now. Yes, a car accident. And it actually happened like 2 blocks from my house. It was pretty crazy. So I had actually, and I was so lucky that I had a police officer that had, like, we had pulled up to the intersection together. Literally, like, he was beside me and I was here. And it was like a blinking yellow light. And so I was going to make a left turn, and this little tiny red car just like came zooming down. And I was like, I smacked right into him. Like, both our driver's sides hit. His car was totaled. My car was totaled. We were both okay. The kid was only 16, so I was like bawling. I was like, because he's the same age as my son, and I was just like, I could have hurt you, and I just like I was feeling so bad. I mean, he was speeding, and so like if he would have been going the right speed, it probably wouldn't have happened. But still, I was at fault. But my insurance did cover his car, and mine was totaled, so it's not getting fixed. But we were both okay, and I think it kind of taught the kid a really important lesson since he had just started driving. Like, you don't speed, even if you're coming up to an almost yellow light. You don't have to speed through it. Like, it's okay to slow down and stop. And yeah, the kid didn't have insurance either, so I'm hoping he learned a really important lesson then, because it's a good thing my insurance, I have good insurance, was able to cover him, and it also covered any bodily injury that would have occurred. He said he was okay, but if he files a claim, it's covered. Thank you. Yes, it's Labradorite, absolutely. 1 plus 2 is, wait, 2 plus 2, because 1 plus 1 equals 3. Math. Me and math don't work. I have dyscalculia, so like you start throwing numbers at me unless we're looking at like codes, I'm probably not gonna get it. My brain loves like number codes, but like you try to like tell me to do math, even basic math. My daughter, well, she's in 3rd grade now, but like when I was trying to help her with 2nd grade math, I was like, I don't understand any of this. I feel I feel like I'm struggling so much with just 2nd grade math, but that's also part of the dyscalculia. Your neighbor's a 15-year-old going 100 miles an hour. Like, these little kids, man. And I was just like, you're just a child. And like, I didn't even really look at my car until like everything was over. And I didn't even register it really until the next day when I was going to take more pictures of it for the insurance in the daylight. I was just so concerned about this kid. And then his dad showed up and he wouldn't even look at me. I like tried to introduce myself, give him my insurance, and he was just like kept giving me these mean looks, and I was just like, dude, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm like really upset about the fact that it was a kid. And I mean, you shouldn't have been letting your child drive a car that he just bought after he just got his license without insurance. Like, and he's giving me the stink eye. I'm just like, that's whatever. I'm just gonna let you go hang out over there. The kid was really sweet though. Miranda! Oh my god, I'm so happy to hear from you. I actually was thinking about you the other day. That's so awesome that you showed up. I was like, I haven't heard from Miranda lately, but I'm also not on social media right now. I had to deactivate all my accounts. Like I said, I'm going through a lot of stuff. So you really can't find me on social media at all, except for the accounts that I didn't have access to, so I wasn't able to deactivate them. But YouTube Live it is. Yeah. Oh, he didn't have his license and he was going 100. Oh my god. Yeah. I hoped you hadn't fallen off the pole badly. That's so terrifying. I actually did not. I surprisingly, I'm really good at falling. I have had some pretty like what could have been really bad falls because I do some pretty hardcore acrobatics on the pole, and I am like a cat. Because I always forget to put the mats down too. My teachers always like when they see my videos, my practice videos, and they're like, "Why don't you have your mat down?" And I'm like, "I don't like the way it feels under my feet." But I do use the mats in class because they make me. Yeah. But I actually don't have my poll up anymore. I haven't. So July 23rd was my last time. It was an open poll, so it wasn't technically a class. And I was actually training for competition. So I was going to do PSO competition in SF in January before everything happened. So July 23rd was my last. And I actually have videos of it, and I go back and watch them every now and then just to remind myself, like, how strong I was. And because right after that, so I went through a really horrible experience and ended up having to flee with my kids. And I didn't eat for like 3 days straight, and my body just consumed itself. Like, I'm talking, I dropped down to 98 pounds. Like, it completely ate itself to nothing. Like, my shoulder bones were all sticking out, and I was just like, I was so devastated because I had worked so hard to get to that point, to gain that muscle, and to be able to do the things that I was doing. And just in a matter of a couple of days, I just was weakened to the point where I was just like, looked like nothing. And I was just like, how does that happen so fast? But it was just a really intense experience. And luckily, I was able to get us to a safe place, and we were safe. And um, yeah, so we ended up having to flee on July 25th, which actually is like the day out of time. So I was like, wow, that's just like on the galactic calendar. It's like it's so oddly synchronistic that everything completely just fell apart on the day out of time. And it was like a whole new reset for me. And it's been a process of building back up. I've been able to get my weight back up, and I haven't been able to train, so getting my muscles back hasn't really happened yet. But maybe once I get relocated and into a new space, I can start training again. But I can't right now, and it makes me very sad. But it's always going to be there for me when I come back. Yeah, no, it's okay. I wasn't able to really talk about it. I'm still not really able to give a lot of details just because there's a lot of legal stuff happening. And I really just need to protect myself as much as I can because it's like the littlest things are going, like, even things, I feel like anything could be used against me. I could say one wrong thing and it could be used against me. So I'm just like trying really hard to keep things mellow and calm. I do have 3 kids, so it's like I want to keep things mellow and calm for them as well. And I'm doing the best I can despite the situations. And it's just like a lot of things happened when I came back to Bend after being in Tahoe for a couple weeks because I had to get stuff for the kids' school. And my son's friend was moving away, and so he really wanted to see him again before we moved back to Tahoe. And I ended up getting a concussion, like when I was moving stuff out of storage. And so that slowed things down considerably. And then it went from concussion to a lot more serious things and just progressively getting worse and worse and worse. Um, and yeah, I'm currently trying to get myself back to Tahoe again. Um, but the car accident made that really hard. That was how I was making money, was through Uber to try to get us back there. And I still have my shop, so if anybody's interested in getting a reading, my shop is open again. I went and got my cards out of storage today, and the place that I'm staying, I'm not going to be here for very long, but it's it's okay and, safe and stable. I have a protective order over it, so I can at least be here for the time being. Yeah. But like I said, the theme is really like letting go, and it just kind of shows like how I've laid this out, like the Two of Swords with Temperance, the Hierophant in reverse, and the Two of Wands. It's about recognizing choices that we needed to make, that we didn't want to see, and kind of that fire was put on you. It's like, and the cool thing about fire is, um, it's it's a it's a it's a transmutation. It's a purification. It burns away all that no longer serves you. So it's like you can stand there in the fire and pretend that it's not all around you, or you can recognize that it will burn you, or you can, use it to move you forward, to motivate you, to recognize your spiritual strength. So, strength within chaos, strength within things going on. And when we have to go deep inside ourselves and find that strength, we see where we are holding on to programs and ideas, even connected to our spiritual selves, and kind of how we view that spiritual nature and even spiritual communities. Um, it's like rewriting our ideas of what that means, because oftentimes without that heavy transmutation, that heavy purification, there's still a lot of old programs running that are defining your thoughts and your feelings that aren't always, they're not always yours, and they're not always part of your truth. So it's like you have to burn that away to truly see. And that's when we have to find that balance, between the version that we show other people and the version that is our truest self, our most organic selves, and making choices based on a balanced, version of that. Because if we're strictly running wild and making impulsive choices and decisions, people are going to look at us like we're crazy. And it's okay to honor that part of yourself, but you also have to honor the part of yourself that is seen by those around you. So it's like finding balance with the expression that is seen and the expression that is you, and learning how to create the most authentic version of that by being like, okay, so this is how people see me. How are these ways maybe inauthentic, or not true to my truth? And how do I change the perception around that? What am I doing right now that's feeding into this false perception of myself? And how do I make myself more known as far as my truth goes? And I think that's kind of where I'm at also with, removing myself from social media. Is I was constantly portraying myself as this very happy person when I just really wasn't. I was only focusing on and highlighting the beautiful things in my life, and completely hiding all of the things that were really intense in my life. And there's a lot of lessons that I learned in that sense. Like, I isolated myself in a lot of ways. And so when it came to really needing help, I just didn't have anyone to turn to, because the only version of myself that I had given to people was this happy, healthy person that had everything together. And really, yeah, there was aspects of that. I was doing really well in a lot of ways. I was really proud of myself. I'd come a long way. Before I started going to classes here in Bend, I was really underweight. I was really sick. I was having a lot of heart problems, and I wasn't even socializing with people at all. I had no friends. So I was starting to finally come out of my shell. And I think kind of breaking through that shell also forced me to, see the things that were kind of keeping me isolated. And so it was like coming out of the shell and then being trying to be forced back into it. It's like, okay, so maybe this needs to change, and maybe this really isn't working for me. And when your environment becomes unsafe after you come out of your shell, that kind of shows that that shell was made to keep you small and to keep you, controllable. So it's like, I'm not somebody who's going to be controlled anymore. I'm not somebody who is going to be manipulated. And I had to recognize that I was allowing that to happen. And so sometimes we have to really make some tough choices and really get like our bodies out of these rigid shells, because they really just keep us small and stuck. It's time to transform ourselves into these beautiful butterflies. You have trauma from cars now because your dog got hit by a car. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's so hard. Yes, metamorphosis time. You know, our pets are basically like our children, and I have chills, so I can feel that. I can feel that so deeply. Our pets are literally like, because I've had really close relationships with my pets. Like when I was pregnant with my first son, who's turning 16 here in just like 3 weeks. It's crazy. Um, I had to give her away because we had to move out of our place into my in-laws house, and we couldn't have her. And I've never been able to have another pet after that. Like, she didn't pass away, but it felt like it. Like, losing her was like losing a child. And I still think about her all the time. Her name was Sapphire, and she was a Rhodesian Ridgeback Queensland heeler. And she was just so beautiful, and she was so smart and so intelligent. And I still think about her all the time. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to have another dog because it just affected me so deeply. So it's interesting you say metamorphosis with the butterflies. So the song that I wrote, I actually wrote it on July 23rd. I wrote it for my competition piece, and it was based on the story of Psyche. So if you guys have ever heard of the story of Psyche, it's a really sad story. But I also did a lot of deep research on Psyche, so there's a lot about that story that isn't even well known. And so it's kind of a combination of the butterfly metamorphosis and Psyche's story. And I would love to share that song with you guys one day. I really wanted it to be presented, with my competition piece, with that kind of. It's still going to happen. I'm still going to go to competition. It's still going to be my piece. Like, I worked really hard on coming up with the choreography for it and the music for it, but I will probably be sharing the song before I'm able to share it through my competition piece. But it's been a huge metamorphosis. I feel like in the strongest way. This the song is also based on like the alchemical experience that we all go through, and the alchemical processes of the soul, and death is part of that. And I feel like this has been a very significant death. It's been a death of basically everything that I held on to physical in this reality has been taken away from me. So my kids are really all I have left, and is oddly sad as that might sound, is actually put me in a really good position because there was a lot of things that were limiting me in a physical sense, and by allowing myself to let them go, no matter how much I didn't want them. Like, I did not want to let go of my car. My car was my baby. And the universe was like, nope, you got to let go of the car because it's one of the things that's, a consistent issue that's keeps getting brought up, that's, creating reasons for you to still be here and creating conflict. You got to let it go. So I was forced into an accident, but I'm okay. So it was like an accident that could have been really bad. Like, when you look at our cars, I was looking at the pictures and I was like, neither one of us were really injured. Like, a little bit of my neck was sore. I just like I had that in as an injury, with my insurance, just in case it did get worse. But I haven't heard anything back from the insurance about the kid. He seemed fine. He's very physically fit, and honestly, it was like none of the front part of his car. It was strictly just the side, and it didn't dent in that bad. It was just like the whole side scrape. My car was completely messed up. And like the whole front fender was like completely, like, I don't know. Every time I think about it, I get a little bit like, the flashbacks when you see the lights and you hear the sound of your car crunching. Yeah. But I definitely feel like I was protected through that because it could have been a lot worse for both of us, especially since he was just a kid. Like, that, I think, was the part that was the hardest for me because he was just so young. And the fact that he was so close to my own son's age and that I could have been responsible for injuring him was just really hard for me to deal with. I couldn't stop crying every time I would look at his car. And I kept just asking, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And I even like told the cop, like, I was like, can we step away from the children for a minute? I need to talk to you personally. So I was like, I'm really sorry. I keep crying. Like I'm just very emotional right now because he is the same age as my son, and I'm going through a lot, and I'm feeling very, very protective of children, and I'm not trying to like be overly dramatic. I'm just. It's very, very hard for me to, deal with this right now because of everything I'm going through. And he's like, it's totally understandable. It's fine. Everybody gets into car accidents. And I was like, I've never even had a ticket. I've never even been pulled over. This is my first experience, like, with anything like this. I was like, I don't even know what to do. So he kind of walked me through the process of how to do, like, a collision report and stuff like that, and how to do all the insurance stuff. So he was really nice. I was really lucky that he was literally right there when it happened, because that also helped, like, with the whole corroboration, like, recognizing, like, even though I was at fault, like, he was there. He saw that it was clear. Like, we both started going at the same time, and so it was like, he was like, look, I know this wasn't your fault, but logistics say it was your fault, so. Yeah. I know, I'm glad I'm making music too. Okay. Sorry, gotta go back. Change is hard, but that growth will cleanse. Absolutely. And I kept, so I feel I have this strange connection with the weather. When I get very, very strong emotions, I tend to bring storms. And so it's like, even today, like, when I was going to my storage unit to get my cards, my son had called me with some really upsetting news. And it was like, like blue skies when I left. And by the time I made it out of my storage unit, it was thundering and lightning. And by the time I got home, it was like monsooning rain. I was like, the old gods are pissed. Oh yeah. So it was just it's been a lot, but I felt like that was just a sign that like the chaos is actually becoming a very cleansing thing, and I was welcoming the rain. I was like, this is cleansing my soul. Your dog is okay, by the way. Oh, good. Yes, our pets would be besties. She would have been through her life cycle by this point, so she was probably like four or five when I was pregnant with my son. So she would be like in her 20s by now in human years. I don't know what that would be in dog years. Vikram, welcome. So good to hear from you. It's so cool to see so many people that I haven't seen in so long. You're going to get a bunny if you keep your mom's house clean for a whole year. You're still a kid. That's fine. I'll try to keep my mouth shut. Like, I'm sorry in advance. Bad words do come out. I try to keep things appropriate as I can. But I do have kids. Jansu. Oh, and Kiki Fee. Oh my god. Oh, so many people. I miss you guys so much. I miss you guys so much. I really do. Honestly, I was a little bit nervous about going on so late. I'm like, nobody's gonna show up, and probably none of my people that I miss so much are gonna show up, and yet I've seen so many of you. So it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. Oh, and I love that you're all saying hi to each other. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yeah, I actually did share one of the songs that I wrote right before everything happened. Like, it's the Echoes of Silence. So if you go into my past videos, Echoes of Silence was one of the first songs that I wrote when I started writing music again. So I was just going through a lot, and one of the ways that I kind of manage my emotions and get some of that pain and suffering out of my insides is through music. So you can hear a lot of that in my music, but also it was very much in alignment with the female, and I'm not trying to be like sexist about this, but women for thousands of years have dealt with some shit. And so it's really just dedicated to that. Yay. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. Kiki, your son has probably gotten so big by now. How is he doing? Yes, 100. And so I think Echoes of Silence is so far the only one I've put out publicly. I did have a couple other ones on my Instagram that I had, done dances to, but my Instagram is no longer available. It's deactivated, so I didn't like delete it. It'll come back eventually when things become safe again. But right now, I've been attacked a lot through the internet, and so having social media just makes it even easier. As long as it's just maintained through the other person's stuff, it's like I'm kind of at the point like they can say or do what they want. They can try to make me look bad, and y'all can make your own judgments on that. And I'm just not even gonna try to defend myself anymore. It's not worth it. Somebody once told me other people's perceptions of you is none of your business, and it's really such a powerful reminder that if we let other people's perceptions of us affect us, they will. So if we just like stop worrying about what other people think, stop caring about what other people think, stop trying to defend ourselves in light of other people's attacks, it really takes a lot of that pain out of it, because I just let myself just feel a lot of pain and a lot of anxiety and a lot of suffering that really I shouldn't have. Like a lot of fear on top of that, like, not just what other people think, but like in like legal situations, if this is brought to court, is this going to affect me negatively in some ways? Then I'm like listening back and I'm like, you know what, honestly, all I'm seeing is reactive abuse, gaslighting, and a lot of manipulation. So it's like any judge that had like any understanding in even just the most basic forms of psychology would be able to recognize that like I'm actually a really nice person, and I'm not even very good at calling names. And I actually felt really bad for the names that I did call, because I was like, that's almost like too nice, and almost like mean to the stereotypes of people. Like I was just like really flustered. So if anybody happened to see or listen to some of the things that have been put on the internet about me, like I apologize in advance. I think marsupials are actually really cute. And I have nothing against girls at all. um, or boys for that matter. Like I'm not very good at being mean. It's really hard for me, and I was really flustered, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had a concussion, and I was just like really struggling. So just putting that out there in advance, because I know it's public, and I know people have probably watched it or listened to it. So I don't actually think badly of marsupials. Oh, he's in middle school. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm a Libra. I'm like that. The justice will come. I'm like, I have to stop trying to make it happen and just recognize that it's already in my archetype. It's going to happen. If I keep trying to make it happen, that's like forcing things. I just have to stand in my power and recognize that I already have the justice. And that's when I see it. And I've been trying to tell myself that, like, you got to stop trying to defend yourself. You got to stop trying to get people to recognize that it's not fair to you, because the more you do that, the more you're looking like the crazy person, the more you're looking like just stop. I just told myself, you just got to stop, because I was just like, even earlier today, I found myself in that, feeling of like, why is this happening? It's so unfair, and I'm so sad, and I'm like, knock it off. Just knock it off. Everything is working out for you. You just can't always see it right away. Even the car accident, like the first 2 nights, I just couldn't let it go. I was like, I just lost my job. That was all of my income. How am I supposed to support my kids? Like, just so upset about it. And then when they told me it was totaled, I was just like, it's got to be a blessing in disguise. It's got to be a blessing in disguise. And then once I talked to the insurance people, and they were like, well, we can take your statement and all that stuff, but the loan isn't under your name. You're only a cosigner, so really, it's got to go from them from here on out. So it was just like, that actually benefits me in a lot of ways, because it was creating a lot of issues. And I was really adamant that I keep the car, because I needed it for work and I needed it to transport my kids. But like not having it also was like, okay, now I know I can't stay here and try to make enough money to get myself out of here. I have to let other people help me. I have to stop being like hyper independent and just let people help me. And so that's what's gonna happen is I'm gonna finally let people help me and I'm gonna get the F out of here. So hopefully it won't be too long. I wish more than anything that I could be in Tahoe by my birthday. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but that would make me very, very happy. A fresh start. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing is like it's so fresh. Like there's literally nothing. Like even when I was in my storage unit, like everything that I own is just this tiny, like a few boxes and bins. It's like my tarot cards, my wire wrapping stuff, some clothes, and some fabric and sewing stuff that I can't seem to let go of because I invested so much into it. Because I have all these beautiful ideas. Um, and I might even have to let those go if I can't transport them. So, but like I have minimized my possessions to such a small amount that I was like kind of blown away. I was like, wow, I really let go of a lot. And now even my car. But I was also thinking, I was like, down the road, I was probably going to have to make a bunch of repairs on it because it's 2017 Jeep and it was already starting to have some glitchy electrical issues and I was going to have to replace the coolant tank. I mean, the brakes and stuff just got replaced, but it was going to need new stuff and the warranty was about to run out in October. So I'm like, really, in a lot of ways, it probably was a blessing because it really took it off my hands and off my responsibility. And now I can go to Tahoe and in Tahoe, I'm able to make a really good income because I'm a bartender and the casinos there, it's a really lucrative space, especially if you're a bartender. Because I bartended in Tahoe for 6 years. And I mean, Friday and Saturday nights, especially during the holidays, I mean, you're looking at like $400 or $500 in tips. And it's like, you can't make that kind of money anywhere else. So it's like going back there is really just going to be a blessing. I'm going to get a way better car. I'm going to have a way better job. And I have nothing tying me back to this place. There's no reason for me to ever come back here at that point or deal with this place or deal with anything here. So I'm like, it just really is a blessing. And I'm okay. Like the freaking car thing was really sad and really devastating, but I'm okay. Like I barely got injured. The kid didn't get injured. And so it's like we gotta look at the bad things as potentially being good things as shitty as they are. Like I didn't want to even recognize it as a good thing at first because it just was so devastating to me. But I'm letting go. I feel like there's just such a huge theme of like this. It's almost like a forced letting go, but it's also like you have to be willing to acknowledge and accept it. Like yeah, it got taken from you, but for a reason, and you need to see the reason why. Angelfish! Angelfish, it's so good to see you. How are you? Fingers crossed for Tahoe. Yes, yes, absolutely. October 17 Libra. I'm a September 28th Libra, but I'm a cuspy, like right on the Virgo Libra cusp. I think it's 5 degrees. Yeah. What kind of car do I want? I'll probably get another Jeep, but a newer one. I can't help it. I love Jeeps. Like my first car was a Jeep. I was so happy when I got this car. Like they just, how when you have a certain type of car that you just really enjoy being in, that just feels like you. That for me is Jeeps. Like I have a thing for them. So I'll probably look at them, but I'm open to other cars, whatever comes my way. Definitely not going to get an older car that has potential issues because I learned that with both of my Jeeps. As much as I love them, and that's something that I always have a hard time with is letting go of them, is I've always gotten kind of a little bit more older cars that are used and a little bit cheaper, but then they always kind of have stuff that I have to take care of, like either immediately after I buy them or just a few months later. So I am going to try to get like a better car. And I don't know. I I I will be open to other types of cars. But like if I was to say like what kind of a car you were going to get, it'd probably be a Jeep. I really liked my Jeep. It was a Jeep Compass. It was black and it looked like a UFO. I even my keys my little keychain, where is it? I'm like, I had like a little pink keychain that said like keys to the UFO, and I had like all pink and black stuff in it, and I don't know, I just really loved it. But I'm gonna have an even better car, so it's gonna be okay. And I got a thing for black cars. Yeah, low mileage. That was the other problem is I always get high mileage ass Jeeps. Yeah, I love black cars. I don't know why. So I like looking like a cop, I guess. Because I had a big black expedition before my Jeep, and it's funny because so many people like I'd get behind them and they would immediately slow down and I'd be like, I'm not a cop. I promise. Yeah, the Grand Cherokee is nice too. You know the Cherokees and the Compass actually, but they both look pretty close. They're not too different. Yeah. So I'm gonna pull from a different deck because I'm just talking. I'm not actually even pulling. Alexandria. Yes, it is the Fascinating Faery. I'm back. I'm back. I'm live. The universe made it happen. You know how many times I've tried to go live in the last couple of years and just like I would plan for it, I would prepare for it all day, and then some shit would happen, and I'd be so emotionally distraught, and I just wouldn't have any energy left. I'd just be completely drained, just drained. And it's just like happened every single time I try to go live, every single time. So I'm just like, you know what? I had nothing to lose. I can't say that I have to go to work. I haven't been able to work for a couple of days, so I can't have any excuses like, oh, I'm so tired, I've been working all day. No, I'm gonna go live. I did have to wait till my kids go to bed, and it took them a little bit longer than I had planned because it's Saturday night. So, I mean, even going live at 10 was a little bit like, is there even gonna be anybody there? But I did it. I did it. I actually did it. I'm proud of myself. So, I'm so glad you happen to be scrolling as well. Oh my god. SpongeBob shite. That's funny. My daughter was watching SpongeBob literally like right before I started. I couldn't get her to go to bed because she's like, I just want to finish this episode. I was like, dude, it's almost 9 o'clock. You have to go to bed. I need to get on my live. Queen of Wars. Can you ask the spirits if I'm going to get a yes or no back? I wonder if I have my cards here. Let's see. Mike, I have some yes cards in here, but I don't know if I'm going to get you the answer that you want. Make sure I'm all turned out around the right direction. Let's find out. I just pulled this deck out. I don't actually use this deck like by itself. It's like I use it like in readings. If I have a specific part in the spread where I want like a yes or no or something along those lines, I'll use it as like a, what do they call it? I'm having trouble with words. Words are hard. An additive. I know that's not the right word, but it's somewhere along those lines. So let's see. Is there going to be a yes or no back? No, that's not going to work. Improving health. If it has to do with your health, then there will be an improvement. Let's see what else. And we have a don't stop. I don't know if this deck is going to give you the answer that you want. And a trust. So there might be some kind of improvement if you keep looking forward, and trust as far as like a yes or no. Haven't quite gotten that. But depending on your situation, if it's like if you're looking for an answer connected to like a job, a relationship, or just a potential something happening, don't stop believing that things are going to improve. Like, the more you trust and believe that things are going to work out the way you want, even if it is a no, it's actually going to be a yes for you in the future. Does that help? Oh, look at that. And there's a yes there. So no matter what, even if it's a no right away, it's going to be a yes for you in the future. I feel like that was a sign. Oh, it's for your SSI. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You know, that has just been, I went through it. So I tried to apply for disability, and because I have a lot of stuff. But the doctor that I had before had incomplete medical records for me, and it was really hard for them to obtain records from other places. So I actually switched doctors. Able to, she was freaking amazing. She was able to get all the records that the disability people could not get, and so I have a complete medical chart once again. I did not file again because I had started working, and so I just didn't feel like it was necessary to continue fighting with disability for them to just turn me down again. I had been fighting them for almost 3 years, trying to get them to approve my thing because they usually will deny you the first time. That's pretty typical. It's actually, like I think they said, like 70% of cases get denied the first time. So you have to ask for reconsideration. So, and that takes a really long time too. So when you get denied twice, it's like, okay, this really sucks. It's like, can't you just like, and I don't know. I'm not very good at I'm maybe way too honest and forthgiving. That might have been part of it. Like some of the questions that are on the forms are really misleading. So when you are as honest as I am, they can see you as perfectly able-bodied because I'm able to take my kids to doctor appointments and be able to do things. But the recognition of the pain and the struggle that's behind all of that isn't really put into play with SSI. So if you do get denied the first time and have to do reconsideration, just be really, really, really vague. Be extremely vague. Like I'm talking as vague as you can be because the more information you give, the worse it's going to go against you. Let the medical records do the talking. Because I think I did too much for myself and basically made myself look like I was able to function when I was actually having a really hard time. So I suffer from chronic migraines that make it really hard for me to work a normal job because they're so frequent and so severe and they last for such a long time. Like I have migraines that put me in the emergency room. I don't know if anybody's ever had a hemiplegic migraine before, but they basically are like a stroke. You lose feeling in half of your body, like my whole face swells and droops. Like I actually have been to the hospital before. Like I don't know if it's a migraine or something else. Like I'm just like in so much pain. Um, it's it's the worst thing that I like. Migraines are bad enough, but when you have the hemiplegic migraines, and I don't get those all the time. I only get hemiplegic migraines. I think I've had 3, but they're so severe and they're so scary um, that they actually have long-lasting effects. Like you don't just recover from them after a day. That those they have like these, I call them aftershocks, these rebound migraines that last for days and days and days, weeks even. So like in those situations, like you can't work a normal job because you would just get fired. You would get fired after your first, because mine also like to come in threes. It's like you get a migraine for 3 days and they think you're just like making excuses. Like unless you've personally dealt with that, then you don't understand. And then I also have, other issues. I just don't want to go listing them off because it's just too much. And I don't, it's like alphabet soup. So it's like, what's the point? The migraines are really the most disabling thing that I've had to deal with in my life that has made it hard for me to work a normal job. That's why I work bartending jobs because they're nights and my migraines typically happen through the day. Even if they start at night, they usually are the worst during the day, and I'm usually in more of the recovery phase between like 4 and 6 p.m. And most bartending jobs that I've had usually start either 6 or 8 p.m., and I usually work till like 2 or 3 in the morning. My casino jobs, I usually would work a little bit later, 4 or 5 in the morning, because you aren't required to stop serving alcohol at 2 a.m. You can do it all night. Hit the gas. My lawyer didn't send all of the paperwork to the judge, but the judge gave him a week to turn it in. And you got turned down 4 times. Wow. So you had a lawyer? And so you had to go in front of the judge for your SSI? That's rough. That's rough. Well, keep fighting it. Keep fighting it. Give them as much medical records as you can. Find every blood test, every, CAT scan, every x-ray. Like, find it all. Present it all. Let the medical records talk. Use as few words as possible. That's just like the best thing I can say. Hey, silly. Yeah, brutal. So, um, yeah. And I also just want to say that, there's a weird energy here. Sorry. Um, Four of Water. There's discontentment, possibly even boredom, feeling like you're missing an opportunity. Four of Water is all about finding a stable space within your own emotional self. So when we are unstable emotionally, we tend to focus and fixate on the things that are happening rather than the good that can come from them. So opening your eyes to the possibilities, even though things are falling apart around you. When you lose something, it's because the universe is trying to tell you you're about to gain something. And by losing that thing, it's opening you up to the thing that you actually do want and that you do need. Actually, let's see what that card is. Page of Swords. Even better. Like, that goes perfectly with it. So when we talk about the Page of Swords, we're looking at new thought perceptions within the mind, new ways of expressing ourselves, even if they feel almost childish or like are people just gonna be like, oh, why are you being this way? Like, you were so different before. But it's because before you were basing yourself on the perceptions and thoughts of what other people had over you rather than who you were truly. So it's like, it's time to start playing your own music and not the music that other people want to hear. What music comes from your soul. It doesn't mean that it doesn't matter if you think other people are going to like it. You have to stop fixating on the things that were broken, the things that were taken from you, and start recognizing that there's actually something better standing right in front of you. If you focus on any cups that are spilled, you can't see the one that's still full. Oh. Hmm. Two of Air. That kind of goes along with the two. The I forget what it was. The card that I had pulled earlier. But basically, not being willing to make a decision, and because of that, there becomes a stalemate because you pretend there's not a problem, so the universe forces that decision upon you. It's like I didn't want to let go of my car because I loved it so much, so the universe took it away from me. But it's okay because better things are going to happen. Can I get a card for a general reading? Of course. Yes, I'm pulling collectively anybody who resonates with these things, and uh, Alexandria would like a card as well. So we have Lavish Abundance, the Empress. Giving birth to your dreams, learning how to nurture yourself and others. 3 is also a very fertile number. So looking at creativity, creating a new reality, birthing something new through your own self-love and self-nurturing. So when we start taking better care of ourselves and start recognizing where we were putting all our time and energy into other people, that weren't giving anything back, and we turn that back on ourselves and we start giving all of that care that we gave to other people. And it's okay to care for other people, but when you're not getting anything back, you're just dumping your cup out and it's not getting refilled. So this is about recognizing, hey, and there's even a waterfall in the background, like, hey, it's time to start watering my own soul, and through that you grow, your seeds grow, your garden grows, all your manifestations that you've planted begin to blossom. It's really beautiful. I know, poor little Jeep. It's going to be replaced with something so much better. And honestly, I was really holding on to it way too tightly because I loved it so much. And I find that I do that a lot with my possessions. I'm very, very, I think because I just had things taken away from me so many times in my life. And I've always been, I grew up very, very poor with very little items, very little belongings. So I think that is a little bit of a trauma response in some ways. And so I'm learning how to work through a lot of my trauma responses by having them pushed right to the forefront. Like, this is happening because it's a trauma response. And until you recognize that you're having a trauma response and the trauma attached to it, you're not going to be able to heal. So even though these things are really hard, then it's like, um, they're going to work out for the better eventually. It's just, it's hard right now. Yes, you got to start taking, like, if you're, and I'm not saying that you're not, but even I am so guilty of this. And I recognize that just in the last couple of days. I'm like, holy crap. Like, I've showered every day lately and I don't do that. I'm sorry. I was going through some bad depression. Like, bad. Like, I was not taking care of myself. I was not showering regularly. I wasn't feeding myself. I put myself into a state of chronic starvation to the point where my body started to shut down. I was down to like 93 pounds before I started going to the studio. The studio was my first step and starting to take care of myself again. And so I was able to get my weight up to like, I got it up to like 110 one time, but it was pretty much mostly ranging around 105. But like going from like 93 pounds, that's a big step. And even though I was still considered low BMI, low weight, I was muscular. Like, I had biceps and I was really strong. And I was really proud of myself for how far I had come. And even just like looking back at some of like the early videos, I was just like, I was so skinny. My legs were so skinny. They were like little toothpicks. And then like looking back at the ones like at the very end, man, I had some muscle. Like, I was beautifully built. I was really proud of my body. And I think it was the first time in my life that I was really, really proud of the way that I looked. I felt really good about myself. Like, I had probably the best self-esteem I've ever had in my entire life right before everything happened. And so like I'm starting to build that back up. Like, the weight still isn't where I'd like it to be. But it's getting there. I haven't been able to work out, but I will eventually. And I keep telling myself that, like, you got there once and you saw what it looks like and you know you can get there again. So it's like that in itself, even though it was, you know, a short lived experience, was enough for me to know that it is possible again. So, Alexandria, what can you do to start improving things in your daily life to make you build the more self esteem? Like, for me, right now, it's showering every day. Like, that's a big step. So, and that's very small, but it's huge for me. Yes, yes. Depression is a beast, man. It puts you in places that you did not like think you could end up. um, and when I was like really consistent and working a lot, and even when like just like everything kind of falls in a line, you start meditating more, you start like everything just gets better. And I also found that like when I don't take time to meditate, I start to build a lot of internalized energy. And so showering is kind of that first step for me because it's like that's part of the cleansing process. And then you feel clean and you feel like, oh, I could really use, some breath work right now. I could sit and meditate for a few minutes because I have that. And for me, kind of that first step was always like the showering. Like if you feel dirty, it's hard to take the steps after that. So it's a cleansing for me. And then also eating, like I've been really trying to make a point to and like first thing when I get up in the morning, have a protein shake, make sure I'm eating, have a piece of toast. And I've been drinking like half and half. I know that sounds bad, but it's actually, if you're trying to gain weight, I'm not going to lie, it works really well. So I'll do like half and half, just like a cup of half and half with like some strawberry Nesquik or, strawberry syrup. And it's just like strawberry milk, but it's half and half. Great way to get calories in real quick. So if you're really trying to put on some extra weight, that was what my nutritionist told me. She's like, it's a great way to get extra calories, and it's just like drinking, strawberry milk. You like strawberry milk, you like chocolate milk. Now you can do chocolate milk too. I prefer the strawberry milk. So, and then sometimes I'll drink like half of my protein shake, and then I'll pour half and half in the rest, and then just shake it up and drink that because they're always kind of intensely. They have a lot of extra flavor anyway, so the half and half just kind of tones it down anyway. So that's also another way to get extra calories. And I've also been like really focusing on like high protein foods. Like when I get the protein shakes, I always go for the ones that have the most protein in them. And so like really adding a lot of protein into my diet. And my doctor, who I just saw yesterday, day before yesterday for my concussion, she was like, you need a lot of water and a lot of protein right now. And I'm like, well, it's like this is my second I have my Hydro Flask. It's like 32 ounces. I'm like, this is my second Hydro Flask today, and I'm on it with the protein. That is like my forefront when it comes to food. And she's like, that's probably why you're recovering so well from this concussion. And I was like, thank you. So I go to the concussion clinic again in a couple of weeks. We'll see how that goes. And I mean, as far as like the symptoms from it, they've definitely gotten better. The first like week after the concussion, I was having the worst migraines. Like they were blinding bad. To the point where I was like, I know for a fact that one of them was a hemiplegic just because I had taken videos and pictures of my face because I was trying to tell like if it was drooping or not. And looking back on them, I'm like, oh yeah, that was definitely hemiplegic. But I was also like sleeping in my car at the time and it was really hot. So it was like hard to tell if it was like that too that was contributing. Yeah, I will absolutely pass that on to my grandma. She's been doing the liquid thing, and I bet that would help. Yes, so if you have a hard time eating actual food, but you need extra calories, half and half, or even heavy whipping cream, but that does get a little bit. It's doable in the beginning, but then after a while, it gets a little bit thicker and harder. So I switched to the half and half because it's like once you add the syrup into it, it's just like drinking chocolate milk or strawberry milk, depending on my mood. I mostly lean towards the strawberry milk, but sometimes I'll do chocolate milk, and then sometimes I'll do like instant coffee, and it's just like a nice, thick, cold iced coffee. Works really well. So she likes iced coffees. Doing more cardio would probably help along with more water as well. Yeah, I was doing a lot of cardio. Actually, my cardio fitness score is pretty good right now because I walk like 10 miles a day. Like by the end of the day, my mile marker is up to like 10 because of all the walking I do. Just to get to my doctor appointment yesterday was I think 5 miles because it was like 2.56 miles I think each way. And it was really hot. It was like over 90 degrees. Oh, it was really hot. I was like, I probably lost a lot of water weight. I need to drink more water. Yes, the instant coffee works really well. So, and if you have, it depends on the instant coffee brand that you have. If you have a hard time getting it to liquefy, just add it to a little bit of warm water, not like too much, and pour it over the ice first, and then add the half and half. Holy Hermes. Yeah. And so there's also another thing that my nutritionist had recommended, and I think it was called Benecal, but I'm not sure. It's supposed to be like a powder that you put into your food that adds extra calories. I never actually ended up getting any, but the half and half has really helped. Or heavy cream. I was just eating straight whipped cream for a while too. Like with the heavy cream, I would just make it, and then I would add protein into it, the heavy cream, and then I would make protein whipped cream, and it was really good. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just pull a couple more cards. I didn't realize I've been on for over an hour. So we've got the Emperor, with the Six of Air and the Seven of Air. Interesting. So we've got quite the spread here. So when we're looking at our plans and things needing to change, not looking at the problem, kind of dismissing ourselves from the problem, that usually means there's a lot more going on than you can truly see. So when things are changing or needing to be changed, or you feel like things like are having like there's bad timing happening, like for me, I kept saying this is like the worst timing. I can't believe this is happening right now. I have so many appointments. My daughter's got appointments. I'm trying to get to Tahoe. Like this is the worst timing. It's actually not. It's I can see if I take myself out of that moment of this is really shitty, this is bad timing, I can see that it's like, well, no, if you just can take a moment to organize your thoughts, organize your space, and recognize that there is structure behind it, but self-discipline is needed to actually like step into that, that's when you start moving into those leadership roles. And we're talking about self-leadership, self-independence, but also there's there's a level of self-independence that comes with asking for help, especially when you are hyper independent. So it's like if you've always tried to do everything yourself, sometimes getting into that independent stage means like, hey, you might need to let yourself get some help. And I know that kind of almost sounds like a oxymoron, but my whole life is a walking contradiction, so I do well with those. So when things change and things feel like they're out of, in really bad timing and you have to change all your plans, like I had my whole budget like perfectly out. Like I was going to be able to pay all my bills. I was going to be able to have money for gas. I was going to be able to have money for my sister. I had to make this much money each day. And I already knew I could do it because I already proved to myself that I could do it. I mean, I had to drive for like almost 10 hours a day to be able to make that kind of money, but I also had it so that I only had to do it 5 days a week in order to make that. So that gave me a buffer so that if I couldn't work one day or if I worked less hours one day, I could always make up for it another day. Uber only lets you drive for 12 hours though. Um, so I was like getting really close to my limit a lot. But also because I was so dedicated and working so hard, I was able to at least make my car insurance payment, which benefited me because I got in an accident like right after I made the payment. I was able to buy my daughter birthday presents, which I was so worried I wasn't going to be able to buy her birthday presents because the things she wanted were going to cost over $100. And I was just like, I can't afford this. But I made it happen, you know? And it's like the fact that I could make those things happen and I made them happen even right before my freaking accident. I was really proud of myself, and I'm still really proud of myself because I proved to myself that even in really intense circumstances, recovering from a concussion, having headaches every day, I was still working really hard. I was having to come home and take breaks. I would have to come and lay down until my head would stop hurting, and then as soon as it would, I would go back out and work some more. So a lot of that is the emperor energy coming with the four, that is finding your own self-organization, that's finding organization in the chaos. And that kind of goes back to that temperance card. It's like finding that balance and that serenity, even though you're having to hold a lot of different things. And then we have the Six of Air, which is saying things are looking up, the end of a difficult situation and the opportunity to move, whether this is taking a trip, moving spaces, moving to a new job, or just moving out of an energy that was keeping you stuck. And so that just is like a beautiful reminder that, hey, um, when things go wrong, they're actually going right. No, I just got chills all over my body. So it's like, just hang in there. If things feel really hard, if you feel like the world is against you, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Sorry, my stomach hurts a little bit. I'm going to start closing this down in a minute. I had a bunch of pizza before I started because I made pizza for the kids and I was like, it kind of smells good. Yeah. So things are looking up. Six of Air. The end is near. You're in the boat, you're on the water, you may still be at the shoreline, but you're moving. And I keep telling myself, like, it's still going. I'm still moving. It's been really hard, but I'm still moving. Yeah. And I am really proud of myself. Thank you. It's been such a pleasure to hang out. Yes, it has. It really has. And I'm so glad you guys came. Like, honestly, I didn't actually expect anybody to show up. And so I'm glad you guys are here. And it feels good to be live again. Since I'm not really working anymore, I'm going to try to really dedicate a lot more time to being live again. And my shop is open. I may have to go in and renew some listings because I just had that thought, like, oh, I probably have some sold out listings because my shop's been on vacation for so long. So I'm going to go in there and do that after I close out the live. If anybody's interested in buying a reading, please check out the shop. And I'm going to try to get back to my storage unit tomorrow to get the rest of my wire wrapping stuff so that I can make some items. Probably won't be making anything too fancy, something, more simpler stuff like this guy. But yeah, so be on the lookout. I gotta make some quick cash, so check out the shop. There may not be much in it now, but just like keep an eye out. I'm not gonna be on any social media, so Instagram will not be a reliable place to find my items. You have to check the shop. And hopefully if I do have some stuff on, I will share them on YouTube. So right now the only place you can find me is Etsy and YouTube. Okay. Bye, everyone. It was so great hanging out with you, and we'll see you again soon. Oh, and I'm not even sure how to close this out, so you'll have to give me a minute. Hi, Alexandria. Oh, it's been so long since I was live that I don't even know how to do this. Okay, yes, got it. Okay, bye, everyone.